Hello! We have 3 stories today, but our first makes up 2 parts of what I call twisty titles. You're thinking one thing, and those sneaky Redditors pull a fast one on you. So sneaky. But tricks aren't just for titles. They also make great weddings. Says no one. But our first story has a bride who had to find out the hard way. Story 1. So, my friend, 20-year-old female, and I, 19-year-old male, have been friends for a few years, and she recently got engaged. A week ago, I got a DM from her for a small costume party she was hosting as a celebration for her getting engaged. I asked if there was a theme, and she said there wasn't. I'm a cosplayer, so I had a lot of choices. I didn't want to rock up in an anime cosplay, so I thought it would be funny to go to an engagement party as the corpse bride. Uh-oh. I mean, I like it, but probably not for everyone. I arrived at her house yesterday and everything seemed normal. A few people complimented my costume and I was having a lot of fun. After 10 minutes, my friend's fiancé walked out in a black tuxedo and announced this was actually their wedding. Oh gosh. Apparently, my friend saw a video of someone doing this and wanted to do the same. He asked us all to go to the backyard for the ceremony to begin. I went straight to him. I asked him if I should quickly go home and change my outfit and that I would get back before it started. He told me it was fine since I didn't know this was the wedding. I trusted him and followed everyone outside. They got married and everything seemed good. The reception was just in their house again, so everyone just walked back inside and picked up where they left off. I tried talking to my friend and celebrating with her, but she kept making excuses to not talk to me. I assumed it was just because she was tired from the big day and wanted some time alone. I don't bother her after that, and the party soon ended. I got home and half an hour passed when my phone started getting notifications. I checked, and it was my friend texting me. She was cussing me out and telling me how I ruined her wedding. I was really confused and asked what I did. That only made her more angry. She told me it was basic knowledge not to wear a wedding dress to a wedding. I reminded her I had no idea it was a wedding and that I asked her now husband if I should change, and he said it was fine. She didn't respond, but I got a text from her husband. He asked why I would tell her he said it was fine. I told him he said it was fine. Then he said how I should have changed anyway, and it's my fault that the two are now fighting over this. I've tried texting her that I was sorry, and if I had known, I wouldn't have done it. I woke up today and saw her and her husband have blocked me on everything. So, am I the jerk for not changing out of the wedding dress when I found out it was actually a wedding? Edit. I am a guy. I cosplayed the character Emily from The Corpse Bride and had blue paint all over. I'm also Australian, and I've never heard a costume party meaning fancy. Everyone was dressed up in funny costumes. In the comments, Dolphin Hornet said, I love when I read a headline and instantly form my opinion, but the story completely changes it. Not the jerk, and you're probably better off without people like them in your life. They're both jerks. Plastic Melodic said, good lord, this is what you end up with when 20-year-olds get married. Not the jerk. CBM added, haha, lol. Why did you wear a wedding dress to my wedding? Because you didn't tell anyone it was a wedding. Why did you tell her I said it was okay? Because you said it was okay. The maturity level here is astounding. I give them less than a year. OP added, they were well aware that I cosplay. That's why I asked if there was a theme to it. Effective Penalty replied, you did nothing wrong. The bride's idea backfired. Okay, not cool. It's kind of like a hangover. You can't take back the drinks you had the night before because your headache is making you regret the decisions you made yesterday. Just like you can't take back your brilliant costume party surprise wedding idea because someone decided to wear a wedding dress to a party and you regret that you have photos with the corpse bride. I mean, come on. Also, the dress was true to the character and blue. Perhaps the bride should have set a game plan with her fiancé for if someone showed up in a bridal dress. Though blue paint on a white dress is a stretch. I mean, at least he didn't show up in a Sailor Moon wedding dress. He probably would have completely eclipsed her. Definitely not the jerk. Our second story comes just as Cece was saying hello to a mountain of video editing for the week. I noticed this update at the last minute and, well, Reddit has been down for hours, so I had to work some magic and rescue the story from a cached version of the site. Phew! all in a day's work for every one of you who take the time to listen to me. Story 2. Update. 1 week later. I honestly didn't think this would get as much attention as it did, and I've tried reading through all the comments, but doodle, there were a lot. I do appreciate everyone's feedback. Also, I'm not sharing photos. Sorry. Just for privacy reasons, I'm sorry. Now the update. Since they blocked me on everything, I didn't try to reach out since it would be a waste of effort. But I didn't block them back. If they wanted to talk, I was fine with it. 2 days ago, I was unblocked by my friend. She asked if we could call and talk about what happened, and I agreed. She apologized for blowing up at me like she did, but also told me she was still upset. I was only just made aware, because of the comments and now her, that not wearing wedding attire to anything wedding related is common sense. All I knew was the no white on the wedding day. Honestly, after people informed me, I felt awful and downright stupid. So I apologized back for not running it through her like I should have since I didn't know. I know lots of people were telling me to cut her off, but I've known her since I was 14, so I'm glad we can stay friends. Her husband, on the other hand, he had told her that he came up to me and asked me to change, and apparently I told him it didn't matter because I was already there, or something along those lines. She was crying a lot while telling me. After she blew up at me and I told her the real story, she got peeved at her husband. The husband suggested both of them block me so the fight would stop. She agreed to it, but was still upset by it all. Eventually, she started asking people who were at the wedding to see what happened. 3 people saw me walk up to him and heard me ask. This is where she learned her husband lied to her. Again, a huge fight between the two. Turns out he's hated me since I met them 5 years ago. They had already been dating for a year beforehand. I became good friends with her, but not him. He felt as though I was trying to take his girlfriend. I don't know what I did to make him feel this way. She's beautiful, but I'd never do that to anyone. I don't know why he'd wait 5 years, but he decided the day of his wedding was the best time to get rid of me. I'm not really sure what's going to happen to them in the future. She's staying at another friend's house until her and her husband are able to talk about it. I doubt I'll update any more like, update, they're getting divorced, because that feels insensitive. Again, thanks to everyone for all the advice and points of view. It helped me so much. Have a good day or night. Edit. My friend is doing a lot better and plans to talk to her husband soon. I've also shown her my posts since I felt like she had a right to know. While some comments made her quite upset, but she knows she overreacted. My friend's emotions are always intense, but she tries her best to keep them under control. She's seen people talk about red flags in her husband, but isn't sure what to do. She told me she'll decide based on what he does when they talk about it. I'll support her no matter what she decides, even if he rubs me the wrong way and I have my own opinion on what she would do. It's up to her. She's an amazing person, and I just want her to be happy. No comments on this since Reddit wasn't cooperating, but I guess I can't leave you hanging. Just imagine a bunch of Redditors going, "Not the jerk. OMG, it was a surprise wedding. How were you supposed to know? Your friends are jerks. You don't need real friends. Come to Reddit. We're your friends now. Look at all our subreddits. You could browse forever and ever. One of us. One of us." Or at least that's how I picture a typical Reddit comment. Overall, my thoughts are this. He's still ultimately not the jerk. The husband was totally out of line by lying to OP and his wife, so nothing really changed. But did anyone else notice this part? Quote, "He felt as though I was trying to take his girlfriend." And OP's response was, "She's beautiful, but I'd never do that to anyone." Referencing stealing someone, I mean, he didn't exactly deny having feelings for her, just that he wasn't trying to take her from the fiancé. It doesn't really change the events or what the husband did, but I'm wondering if the husband wasn't totally wrong for picking up on something like a snake in the grass. Hard to say, but you know what they say. You're not crazy if someone is actually out to get you. Our third story is as twisty as a tornado landing on a roller coaster. This now deleted post had humble beginnings, a rising tide, then a spiraling meltdown in the comments. The story starts simple enough. You're working in your family's establishment and spot a bother of concern. You professionally and responsibly address it and carry about your work. Well, you feel so good about yourself you decide to share it on Reddit because Hey, patting yourself on the back is hard work. Let's get the internet to do it for you. Uh-oh, you've miscalculated and the hordes turn on you. Don't skip the comments because that's where this ride really goes topsy-turvy. Story 3. For context, I help out in my uncle's bar on Fridays and Saturdays serving drinks and taking orders. This story took place this past Saturday. There was a fire department paramedic at my uncle's bar. I noticed him in his uniform drinking a beer. I'm a 38-year-old male, and I was behind the bar filling a tray for one of my tables when I saw the man in his uniform. The paramedic, I guess a 22 or 23-year-old male, was drinking a beer and looking at his phone. My first thought was that he was on break and waiting for his station chief, or whatever the term is, to ask him to return to the station. Below is an excerpt from the dialogue. "Excuse me, sir. I see you're in your uniform. It is illegal for anyone to drink alcohol when they are on duty, whether they are on break or not. I am off duty and relaxing before I go home for the night. I see you are still in your uniform and that you are looking at your phone. As far as I know, you could be on break. Would you want your superiors to know that you drink in bars while in uniform? Normally, I change after I get off. Tonight, I happened to forget civilian clothes, so I remained in uniform. I can promise you I am off duty. How do I know you aren't saying this to cover up your drinking on the job? I see zero evidence that proves that you are off duty. I am going to preserve my uncle's liquor license, ask you to give me your half-full glass. If you can provide evidence that you are off duty, I will return your drink. I will be finishing my beer, thank you very much, and I will be drinking 4 shots before I go home. If you do not give me your glass, I will be forced to call police and report you for illegally drinking while on duty." After I said that, the paramedic walked out of the bar and left his drink. He paid, so I couldn't call him out for theft. But I feel like I am the jerk for causing an honest man to leave my uncle's bar on false pretenses. I feel like I might be the jerk for threatening to call the cops on a civil servant. And I definitely feel like I am the jerk for screwing my uncle out of a regular customer. The last part remains to be seen. So Reddit, am I the jerk? In the comments, OP can't handle the rejection. Okatan said, "You're the jerk. JC, do you have any idea how stressful that type of job is? Get over yourself." OP replied, "Every job is stressful. I have worked in hospitality since 2000, and I can tell you that is really stressful, especially for someone when they are new to the field." Summerstorm said, "Info, if this guy was determined to be drinking on duty, would your uncle be held responsible for serving him? Or just the guy himself? Is it illegal to serve someone in uniform?" OP replied, "Not illegal to serve someone in uniform per se, but they have to provide evidence from a supervisor that they are off duty if they walk in uniform. Now, if he was determined to be on duty, then he is looking at jail time." Sergeant Faulty said, "Someone does not need to provide evidence from a supervisor in Ohio that they are off duty. That is not a part of the law in Ohio at all. I am not sure where you got that from. Potentially, it's just an old wives' tale that was passed down to you." OP replied, "Actually, nope. I ran it by an attorney friend of mine who has been practicing law since the 1980s. He said I was in the right." Sergeant Faulty replied, "Actually, yep. I'm happy to be proven wrong by this magical attorney friend of yours, though. Please point to me where in the ORC it says that a civil servant in uniform needs to show proof from their supervisor that they are off duty in order to be served." Aaron June asked, "What does this psychopath think commas are for?" Casey Vings replied, "He claims he has 5 unpublished novels his mother is editing. Can you imagine trying to edit all of his insane commas? Of all the lies, I think that's the least believable." Foxbone said, "I spent way too much time reading his comments and posts. Initially, I thought it was a troll, but now I think this is a legit person. It's all extremely disturbing. Him playing out 5th grader fantasies with an obsession on people thinking he works at retail places because he dresses the same as the employees. His obsession with people he knows in various careers, making him an expert for extremely banal reasons, and his posts wanting to do incest fanfiction via Discord? Yikes, this dude needs help." I don't think there is any helping OP. He definitely is the jerk, but he also completely lacks any sense of self-awareness. He's one of those oddball know-it-alls who should really watch his step. Things are going to go really wrong when he tries to tell the wrong person how it is, and his fake friends in such and such profession don't hold a fiddle to the weight of someone's fist making contact with his face. Step lightly, OP. Step lightly. If you've enjoyed the story and would like to hear more, consider liking, subscribing, and leaving a comment. Thanks, and bye for now.